right, hey everybody. Welcome to another live video. This one is going to make some drivers angry as I'm cruising down the highway, heading toward Tennessee, going east. And I want to talk today about something that I'm not going to take the time to pull over and talk about, so I really hope that this video quality works out. There's a spiritual principle, and I've discussed it before, but you never saw those videos. So I'm just going to share some of this again. And it's one of those things that I feel like we could hear every single day, and it would be all right to hear it every single day. It would not get old. And that is the understanding that, let's call it evil. Let's call it that which is against us. That which is against us profits dramatically when we give it permission. And most of our permissive acts, most of giving permission is not just omission, not just an act of omission by not resisting, but by actually committing, by actively engaging in giving permission for it to come into our lives. Now that commission, in law there's the omission. There are crimes of omission and crimes of commission. Almost all crimes are commission. There are very, very few crimes of omission, where you are charged with something because of what you did not do. That's very rare. Most are crimes of commission. So some crimes can be committed aggressively and directly. Other crimes are more gentle and underhanded. And this is also how it works with giving permission to that which is against us to be involved in our lives. And one of the ways that this permission-based engagement takes place is through us denying the truth about our own identity. Evil has a really strong pattern of trying to deny who we are, and get us to adopt its language. When we adopt its language falsely about who we are, that is permission. Because when we falsely identify with who we are rejecting aspects of ourselves. And when we reject aspects of ourselves, we give evil permission to reject those aspects of who we are. We give evil permission to talk to us and about us as if we are less than we are. This is a big deal. Everyone who's on this planet is on this planet to overcome. We wouldn't be here if there wasn't something for us to overcome. The reason that I mention that is because when something comes against us, we often view that as a problem, as a distraction, as an inconvenience. But there is no overcoming without something coming against us, or us coming against some obstacle or some force. And as we stand in the truth of who we are, we will be confronted, or we will be confronting things that we need to overcome. things that we are here to overcome. Embrace it. There are entire planets that will interfere with your trajectory when you choose a straight path. And your job is to overcome. Go right through. Go right through. Do not make compromises with offending entities or with that which would choose to do you harm. Don't make compromises by compromising who you are. Don't say, okay, I'm willing to refer to myself as a little bit less than who I am. No. Every conversation, agreement about who we are. Do not give any permission to any forces to call you less than you are. The conversation begins with my whole name. That is the beginning. In the Garden of Eden, when the serpent showed up, the first thing he did was refer to God as a fraction of who he actually was in his conversation, in the serpent's conversation with Eve. So, in the serpent's conversation with Eve, the first thing he did was refer to God as a fraction of who he was. Because he knew that if Eve did not correct him, then that means Eve did not know God in the fullness of who he is. And if she didn't know God in that way, she wouldn't know herself that way. And when she responded, she used the same language the serpent did. And I believe that's when he knew he had them, both Adam and Eve. He knew they were ready for a fall. Because being out of relationship with the whole nature of God means we are also out of relationship with the whole nature of ourselves. And I don't care if you're a spiritual person or a religious person. If you want to understand this metaphorically, that's fine. The more I go down this journey, the less I think God cares if you believe in him. I really don't think he cares. And I can explain that in a different video. Don't let that distract you. But we are all still held to the same standard. And that standard is the seeking of truth and the courage to experience life in a way where we find out what truth is. Don't let anyone refer to you as less than you are. We do it all the time. We address each other, we treat each other as less than who we are. That's why we struggle with our parents so much, is because they see us as children so often, and we are so I guess it feels like being put in a straitjacket. You know, it's like, that's not who I am. Stop talking to me and about me in a way that suggests I am less than I am. I'm not a child. You know, so that's the conversation we seem to never stop having with our parents, is I am not a child. Stop talking to me like a child. And and the truth is that we don't know who we truly are. But based on what we do know, we can hold that standard. We can hold that standard. And then have the courage to go through the experiences of finding out more of who we are. And then hold that standard. There are so many aspects of ourselves that we need to retrieve, that we need to reconcile. And by doing so, there are many dimensions of the world around us that we will then re-inhabit, that we will occupy, and that we will steward for the good of all creation. This is why identity is so important. This is why overcoming is so important. This is what we're here for. We're here to find out who we are. I don't want to say that's what we're here for. It's really important. It's really helpful. It's really meaningful to find out who we are and act accordingly. That's my religion. You want to know what my religion is? That's it. Find out who we are and act accordingly. I would love to hear someone argue against that religion. We are overcomers. We're here to overcome. Those who do are blessed in ways that is far beyond what we can imagine before we overcame. Anyone who's ever overcome knows that. Every trauma, every attack is an opportunity to grow and be stronger, to find out more of who we are, and then to stand in that, and to demand the people in our lives who relate to us, and demand the people in our lives treat us accordingly. You'll lose some people in the process, because for them to honor you according to who you understand you are, in a way they would have to accept that they are also that thing. And if they don't believe that, then they're not going to believe that you are it either. There's only so much you can do about that. But in maturity, it's easier to invite them into the same identity that you have, so that they can see themselves the way that you see yourself. That would be ideal. And hopefully in that process, you will get people who come along with you.